Well, good morning and happy birthday to me, definitely. Thank you guys for all of the birthday wishes. You are loved and appreciated. I wanted to come live. I've been on vacation, staycation, and it has been absolutely awesome. And so I wanted to just come live just with a few thoughts. Um, as I, one second, I'm going to try to turn this off. Gonna turn this off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see the hearts. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining. And oh my goodness, 54 years of purpose. I am so grateful. I was just listening to Grateful by Hezekiah Walker, one of my favorites, because I like to go back throughout my life and see how wonderful God's hand has been upon my life, my whole life. And the to be able to celebrate another year, I'm absolutely extremely grateful. So as I was just thinking about things, thanks guys. I see you guys chiming in. Let's see who's here with me. Hey Dodie, Millie. Oh, Sini. Hey, how you doing? Hey Maureen. Hey Overseer Humpkin. You guys are loved and appreciated. I'm so excited, even in the midst. And I always do a weather check in the beginning just to kind of see how people are doing. So you're welcome to put in how you're doing today. And I would say my weather report is sunny, but there are some clouds because of what's going on in our world today. So, but I know that God is moving and change is happening, and God's goodness will prevail. Absolutely. I know his goodness will prevail. But as I was thinking over my life, and this morning, as I was getting prepared, you guys, I'm showering and getting myself together, and I heard God's voice. He just began to start ministering to me because it has been a challenge. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's been easy because it hasn't. It has been a challenge to when I do look at the news, when I do look at things, to see all of the devastation or darkness prevail over a lot of the different cities, countries, and things like that. And the injustice, and I'm not even going to get into all of that because we already talked about that Sunday night. But what I did get and what he did say to me is that this moment, this is a defining moment. This moment will shape your destiny and it will dictate your future. So, what you do in this moment, you hear me, will shape your destiny and it will dictate your future. So, in other words, what you do today will determine or shape or form your future. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about because I want to be remembered for making an impact, for making a difference in the most crucial times. And I think when you begin to start living a life of purpose, then that's really what starts happening. And I thought about this moment and what is it that I can do? And I always say that whenever crises come, whenever challenges come, whenever something's devastating, just like COVID-19, like systemic racism, all of that, when that type of stuff come, my mindset goes to a more responsive mode versus a reactive mode. Reactive wise, I can get angry, bitter, just really frustrated about the whole thing and allow that to overwhelm me. Or I can become responsive and be a part of the solution and look at what I can do to contribute to our next generation, this issue of systemic racism. What can I do? And that's what I want you to focus on. What can you do to make a difference? Yes, we can give into different organizations. Um, if you're called to be an activist, you need to be an activist. You need to be out there on the front line. If you're called to be a prayer warrior, you need to do that. And nobody needs to judge what anybody else is doing. It's what you're going because God is going to be asking you, what did you do in this situation? How did you make it better? How did you change your mindset to make sure you don't have any biases or any issues in your life? What are you going to do to contribute to the success? Because what you do right now in this moment, in this defining moment, is what's going to determine your future, and it's going to dictate your destiny. And so that's why I kind of, when he started pouring that on me, it was really powerful, because that's kind of what I'm always looking at. I'm always looking at moments. I'm always looking at, okay, what can I do to make a difference in other people's lives? So what I can do is to continue being me, is to continue finding myself. And I labeled this video the journey, because the journey to obedience is terrifying, but we have to go anyway. There are some things in our life that we have to do where it doesn't feel good that we have to do them. Anybody ever been there, in a place where you know that God spoke to you to do something? He spoke to you to start a ministry, to start a business, to separate from certain organizations or people or whatever. He called you to be alone in certain situations, but you didn't want to do it because it was uncomfortable, and because you didn't, but it doesn't matter, or you were afraid. But the journey to obedience is terrifying, but you must go anyway, because there's people that are attached to your obedience. There's people that are attached to you doing what God has called you to do. Period. Simple. And like I said many videos ago, at the end of the day, I want my daddy to be able to look at me and say, Charlene, you did what I told you to do. I didn't shrink back. I didn't go silent. You did exactly what I told you to do. And that's why it's specific of what he tells you to do. I can't do what you do, but I can do what he's told me to do. And one of the things that is truly on my heart, and it's going to continue to be on my heart, is raising up the next generation. If we don't get a grip and give some empowering stuff to our next generation, then we are going to be lost. Things are going to be extremely challenging. It is already a challenging world, and it is not getting better. And I'm not saying anything but as a negative confession, but you guys know the times that we're in. And we have got to seize every opportunity to impart into our next generation. And that's why I absolutely love the program Boss the Movement, Building on Spiritual Substance. And it teaches kids ages 4 all the way up to 19 of how to develop core values and how to become kingdompreneurs that they birth their dream and they are funded by God because they're stepping into their greatness. It teaches them motivation, poise, and leadership. It teaches them business principles at a young age. So that's going to be part of my contribution, because that program changed my life. I wasn't in it as a youth. I wish I was. But as an adult, when I took it, my whole life transformed. My whole life changed. And I believe that, especially when we get ready to start moving back out into the different places, that's going to be a key component of what I want to be a part of, because I want to pour into our babies. I want to pour into the kids and let them know that they can stand up proud, erect, and birth their dream. They can be willing to fail many times to succeed just one time. They'll be able to stand up and not allow people to steal their power away from them. They'll be able to articulate with words and demonstrate what they're feeling on the inside. So that's my message for today. What do you want to be remembered for? What are you going to do that can contribute to bring healing, to bring wholeness, to bring your essence of who you are? What are you going to do in this time, in this moment? And that's what I want to leave you with. In this moment, what do you personally take accountability for? What mindset do you choose to demonstrate? How do you intend to lead during this crisis? How do you intend to behave? What are you willing to say? Are you willing to sit and just listen? Are you willing to not say anything if you don't know what to say? Are you willing to lean into uncomfortable conversations? Because uncomfortable conversations will be a part of what needs to happen in this moment. And so what are you willing to do? Can you stand up in your birthright, your God-given birthrights, and declare what God is telling you and love in spite of what you feel? Can you do that? See, this is like living the word of God. See, I don't want to just say, oh, I know the word. I want to live it. I want you to feel God's love flowing through me. That even in the midst of challenges, even in the midst of this war zone that we're in, that I can still release my love toward so and so and so and so and so and so. See, I can do that because I have the love of Christ shed abroad in my heart. So he has given us the ability to love the unlovable, to reach the unreachable. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That kind of love. Give me that kind of love that can cause me to look past my current situation, to look past what happened to me in the past. I've had to do that in my life in a big, big way. I have had to look past people and how they look for me to become who God called me to be. Because when God's hand is upon your life, there is no weapon that is formed against you that shall prosper. There's nobody that can steal what God has put on the inside. There's no human being that I will allow to shrink me back, to cause me to quit, to cause me to shut up, to cause me not to release what God has given me to release. Y'all hear what I'm talking about? There's no human being. We should not give any human being power to steal from us, to make us feel weak, to make us feel degraded. No, 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 no. God has put him, he himself is on the inside of me, and greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So I choose to be unstoppable. I choose to release his words out of my mouth. I choose to inspire. I choose to love in spite of. I have had to love in spite of. And y'all know what I'm talking about here. I know you do. I have had to love in spite of challenges, situations, or whatever, because God has caused me to have that kind of love on the inside of me that sometimes, and you guys know what? Sometimes you have to love the hell out of some people because they're something else. And I'm just saying, and that's not a cuss word, but like literally, there's people that are absolutely evil, and God will give you such grace. I love him for the grace that he puts upon your life and causes you to be able to love the unlovable. That's my daddy right there. He causes us to be able to love the unlovable. I was thinking about, I know I'm probably going long. If you guys want to, you can jump off if you want. I'm on vacation. It's my birthday. I can stay on as long as I want. So you guys are welcome to stay or not. But I do want to talk a little bit about my journey because, of course, my mom and dad, they're no longer here. They passed, unfortunately, at an early age, 50, 60, somewhere around there. And so as a child, I remember as a child, because, a lot of times when we're children is when God has already kind of spoke to us and told us what he wants us to do, be, or become. We start having these desires. We start having these dreams of what we want to do. And so then we start wanting and desiring. So I wanted to be a nurse or a flight attendant. So that's what I wanted to be. I did extremely well in school. I graduated number 8. But let me explain to you that moment. In that moment, it was still segregation going on. The African Americans lived on one side, on the east side, and the whites lived on the other side. That's what I grew up in. And so here we are. I'm graduating. I graduate number 8, really exceptional things that I did, but there was absolutely no opportunity whatsoever. There was nobody guiding me to, hey, maybe you should apply for this scholarship, or maybe there was no scholarships that they would give me. I don't know. But with me graduating at such a high grade point average, I should have been guided so that I can begin my education process. So that was very frustrating and very disappointing to me, because then I was walking to the mall one day and I saw this sign that said $25,000 for an Army college fund. So you join the Army. So here I am at the age of 17. I think I was still in the 11th grade. They had this early entry program. And I was walking to the mall one day by myself. And I was like drawn in there because I saw that, so that can take the load off of my parents, because I knew they were frustrated because they couldn't afford to send me to college. And I did well enough where I should have gotten a scholarship, but I didn't. But those were those moments in times. But in me, I wanted to go to college. I wanted to do something different. what I was seeing was not what I wanted. So I wanted to pursue something more. And so I joined the Army. And this was so different, you guys. And that's why I know our moments, this what God spoke to me, definitely shape our future. Now, I was used to being in segregated places because that's how it was, even then when I was growing up in the 60s, 66. And I joined the Army. There was 35 women or something like that. I can't quite remember exactly how many of it, but it was a whole big room full of women. And they were all cultures, diversity, big time. I had never, ever been around all of the different cultures that I was in when I was 18 in the Army. It's absolutely incredible. And so we had to stick together as civilians being transformed into soldiers. And so there was actually no color during that time because in order for us to survive, we had to like totally stick together. It was no joke, but I just know some of those moments shaped who I was as a person. And so here I go, I fly out. Now I leave out of my comfort zone. That's why I said the journey to obedience is terrifying, but you have to go anyway. That is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those things that God causes us to do. And I didn't even know at that time that that is what God was doing. He was trying to get me out of my father's house into a land that he will show me. Y'all hear what I'm talking about? See, sometimes those places that we're staying at, those familiar places, he said, get thee out of what's comfortable to you, out of your father's house, out of your mother's house, into a land that I will show you. Then I will make your name great. Then I will bless you. Y'all hear what I'm saying? So some of us are holding on to some things that we need to totally let go of. And because he's trying to enter you into a new land, into a new dimension, into a new place, a new way of thinking. So he did that with me early on when I was 18. Boom, I go. And here I am, I'm starting my journey as an adult, so to speak. And I was totally clueless because I was so naive. I was extremely shy. You could not, you say hello to me and I barely wanted to speak to you. But the journey to obedience is terrifying, but you have to go anyway. And so as I went out and I began to make friends and God begins to deal with me, and then I got lost straight away from God because my parents, they were adamant, deacon, deaconess, they were awesome. I'm so thankful that they instilled God into me because it's sustaining me now through all of the challenges of life. God has been my rock, and they have showed me how to trust him. And I thank God for that instilling into me so that I can fight the good fight of faith as I mature and grow older and begin to move forth in my destiny. So I went out into the military, learned wonderful things in the military. I became a medic. And after I got out of the military, I decided to get out early. They offered this entry program because really the objective was to go to college, which I did. When I finished, I got out and then I began to start working on my nursing degree. So then I went to City College, USF, got my nursing degree. Been in the field, you guys, since 1994. No, 92. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's when I graduated in 92. That's like pretty phenomenal. When I start thinking about that, that's like close to, anyway, you could do the math on that. That's many years, but I've been, now I'm in nurse leadership. I am completing my master's right now, but the journey, I also responded to the call that God had on my life to preach and to teach and to pastor and to do all of those wonderful things that he's called me to do in my lifetime. So my point to you today as I end is, what will you be remembered for in this moment? This moment will define you. This moment will dictate your destiny. So what will you do in this moment to empower, to bring light? Because we are the light in the midst of a dark world. I am the light. When I show up, light shows up. When I show up, peace shows up. When I show up, love shows up. What's showing up for you when you show up? Do you feel heaviness? Do you feel bitterness? Do you feel agitation? You got to get with your manufacturer, get with God so that he can give you that peace that passes all understanding, so that he can give you that joy that no man can take from you, so that he can give you the essence of what you need to get through. So anyway, thank you for entertaining me on my birthday. Happy birthday. Oh my gosh, I see all of you wonderful people. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Wow, I see so many wonderful people. Thank you guys for joining. I just wanted to come live real quick. I got up early before everybody got up because I know we have a wonderful day planned full of surprises for me. So I'm excited and I'm really thankful to be here another year, age 54. With long life, he will satisfy me and show me the salvation that he's created for me. So anyway, you guys be blessed in your day. I hope you have a wonderful time and thank you for joining. I will see some of you guys Sunday night with me and Don doing the Kingdom Connection. All right, bye-bye. And thank you again for the birthday wishes.